Hello everyone and welcome to TGP2. We are here well I say we're here, we are waiting to get going in Belgium. So we have three races again tonight, Belgium, Hungary and Singapore. Three good races. I think Singapore's a bit of a meh calendar for me. I don't, track. I don't really like Singapore much, but Belgium and Hungary are going to be brilliant. Singapore could throw an interesting result as well, it being a street circuit. Into the championship order, then Lewis Craig leads by 27 points from Luca, and then Luca leads from another 19 points from CJ, if my maths is correct. Alistair and Chris Johnson still in the fight. Wouldn't count Alistair out despite the fact he is over like 60, 70 points behind Lewis. Because he showed us last week that he is someone not to mess about with. He's got very good pace. Lewis definitely hasn't won the championship yet, that's for sure. Into the constructors, and oh boy, is it a feisty three-way fight at the moment. It wouldn't count Red Bull out either. Look at that, it's 5 points separate the top three, and only 30 points separate the top four. I wouldn't count Alpine out either. They've been quite unlucky recently, but Italy showed us that they do have quite good pace. On to so little reflection of the winners. In fact, no, we'll look at that after. Let's just double check. Okay, we're still not going. So yeah, we will look at this now. Yeah, the winners we've had this season. Lewis has won 3 races around Silverstone, Azerbaijan, and Italy. Waste has only won 1 race, though I expect him to also come through the field. He was quite unlucky last week. He was struggling with the game, and so hopefully he will strike back tonight and will give us a better race from his point going forward. Luca winning Monaco and what was Miami. So he's definitely not at the championship fight either. Wouldn't count him out. And Alistair, like I said last week, 2 wins last weekend at Austria and Spain. Do not count him out of the championship fight. He definitely will be up there by the end of the season, presuming he makes the races. CJ only won Portugal, but like I've said before, he has the pace. It's just the consistency with penalties and the odd mistake, and he could be up there with Lewis. So, hopefully we're going to get going soon. Jack has readied up. Yeah, I'm hoping we're going to get going soon. I'm going to quickly jump to the title odds. Nothing's changed. I haven't got any updated odds for this week. Lewis Craig still 2-1, same with CJ. I'd put Luca into 2-1 and CJ 3-1 after last week. Alistair I'd put I'd say 4-1 still, and then the rest of them yeah, just stay the same. Also, one last thing to mention, it is throwback week, so we have some throwback liveries. I've not been told every single one of theirs, so it's going to be a guessing game. Chris, I know his is the Lotus 97T from 1985. He also says it's conveniently also looks like the 2019 Haas, who he drove for this season, of course, because he's driving the Haas this season, so it works quite well for him. So I'm sure Haas are going to be very, very pleased with him for making that move. I need to turn the audio off my controller because I keep forgetting to do it every week. And it always sounds horrible. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. and I am looking forward to seeing. I know CJ is running some sort of Ferrari. I presume it's a Ferrari. I couldn't tell you which Ferrari, but it's a Ferrari, I think. It's all red, so I imagine so. Um, Yuri's made a very, not Yuri, Lesty's made a good point in the chat, in the Twitter chat, that you can't make anything livery wise on this game, which is a very good point. If you didn't pre-order the game, you were given one livery, which I think is shocking from EA. The downgrade that they have given us, they went from giving us all this new stuff, F2, classic cars, load of liveries at the start. You didn't even have pick wins back then. It was just everything, and then they took away classic cars. They took away, they took away France, and what's the other one? Took away another one, didn't they? I can't remember which one it was. They took away a load of circuits from us. They added pit coins. They took our liveries away. Oh, it's dreadful. Don't know who to blame for that though, EA or Codemasters. So yeah, we're gonna get to qualifying. Who are we gonna go on board with? I think we will go on board with Lewis. Let's watch on board with our championship leader as he goes through turn 1. Neatly does it. Ooh, I'll get rid of that thing. Going down Radion and Arouge. I think I've messed that one up. Yeah, this is Radion. Onto the long straight now. You open your DRS. Get this up. Open your DRS wide. Try and burn some ERS, and then it's a fast right, then left, and then back again to the right. Swing the car right, run the curb a little on the left. Don't run too wide. I found that out last season. You spin round into Les Combs, and then Brussels. This used to be called No Name Corner, I believe. And then fast through Pouon. Gotta make sure you don't clip the inside curb. Well, it used to be a curb. It'd spin you right around. It used to be a blooming nightmare. And then into Campus, and then Stabler. Oh, Lewis getting a bit out of shape there. Could that have cost him a lap? Tell you what, he's still fastest. And then gotta get on the power early, and then again it's quite a long straight. What car do we reckon Lewis is running? I couldn't tell you. I think that might maybe be a McLaren. I'm thinking. I don't know. Anyway, through Bonchemont, and then through the bus stop chicane. Brake late. Hit the apex on the right. Clip it on the left. Get on the throttle early. Get a nice neat run on the exit. And I believe it is Lewis's pole position. It is by a 10th from Alistair. And then a humongous gap from second to third. I don't know who it was in third. I think it was Chris Johnson. That's a mental gap. Top 2 out of the world. Look at that. Lewis Craig from pole position, 1/10 ahead of Alistair, and then a massive gap, 8/10 between Alistair and Chris Johnson, who's in third. CJ in fourth, Acorn fifth, Daniel sixth, Jack Craig seventh, Jessball eighth, Yuri ninth, Matty C 10th, Leslie the Twig 11th, Red Bull Kim 12th, and then Dark Shadow, Neil Jack, and Jack Pearson all DSQ'd from the session, which means they'll be starting from the back of the grid. That is massive, and I tell you what, if they keep that pace up for this whole race, well then this could be a two-way scrap for the win. As it is looking quite cloudy out there, I have noticed. I don't know if that's any cause to concern. While we're doing that, I'm going to very, very quickly just change my settings for the controller. Would it be on controller? Audio settings. Sorry, I should have done this earlier, but I keep forgetting to do it. And I can't seem to figure out where it is. Oh well, we'll do that after. I know it'll just jump me straight to the lights and I don't want to miss the start. So we will do that probably while in the lobby. So this is going to be a good race. Unfortunately, no Cam tonight. He's not feeling too well, so hope Cam is doing okay. Um, so you got me by yourself, by myself. Um, lucky you, maybe. Or you thinking, oh, I miss Cam better. Um, anyway, I hope you're having a good evening, and I'm sure this is going to be some fantastic entertainment as always from these guys. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's lights out and away we go. Who gets a better start between Lewis and Alistair as they go into turn 1? I think Lewis will take the lead. Alistair keeps his car on the outside, but it looks like Lewis will lead. However, as they go through Rouge and then Radion, who will be ahead because Alistair will have that humongous slipstream. Here we go, side by side nearly already. Alistair, is he burning the ERS? No, he isn't. He's going to sit back for now, I believe. Oh, here's CJ. He's came out of absolutely nowhere. Did not see him coming. He takes the lead of the race. Where did he come from there? Must have had some mega slipstream. CJ takes the lead of the race. That has caught me napping. I apologise for missing that. Wow, okay. That was a jump scare. Here's Lewis, though. He's going to try and hang around the outside, switches back to the inside. He's going to get the switch back. CJ's squeezing him onto the inside here. Will CJ send it around the outside? He does. CJ keeps the lead. I thought Lewis might have thought about taking the inside, but he thinks about it smarter. CJ then leads the race very unexpectedly there. That came out of absolute thin air. Fair play to him. As meanwhile, Neil Jack gets past Jess as we go into Bonch-la-Manche. I probably say that wrong, so apologies. My pronunciations through these corners aren't going to be great. But I think so far these guys are going to sit behind each other until the next straight where DRS will be enabled, which is where CJ might just struggle. I do know from racing CJ around here before, this is one of, if not maybe his strongest track. So yeah, I'm not surprised he is in the lead at the moment. So far, though, everyone is sticking together. It's quite a big train from the lead here till probably about 7th. So any of these guys can win. Look at that view. That is beautiful, seeing all those cars go through Rouge. Here we go then. On the straight, Jack Pearson, 3-second time penalty already. Here goes Lewis Craig on the straight, the Camel straight. Here we go. Will Lewis Craig go in front, hang it around the outside? No, he doesn't. He has to think better of it again. That might have been a warning from Lewis, though. He looked like he might have cut the corner slightly. He runs on that curb, which is brutal. And here goes Alistair down the inside of Lewis Craig. He's up to P2. Will Lewis be able to fight it back? He just can't get on the throttle quick enough. And that is Lewis down to P3. Meanwhile, we've got a yellow flag. That is Jack Craig facing the wrong way. It's not been a great start for the Craigs, with Lewis going down to P3 and Jack spinning. Not good for the brothers so far, but I'm sure they'll make it up sooner in the race or in the next few races. Lewis, he's really understeering. He's into the grass. Has he got front wing damage or something? He is struggling as Chris Johnson has got past him in his Lotus livery. Lewis really looks like he's struggling out there. We're going to cut to the leaders. I'm just going to see if maybe Alistair's going to challenge CJ potentially. I don't think he is. Here goes Lewis back onto Chris Johnson though. Is he going to send it around the outside through the bus stop chicane? He does. He gets back up to P3. He's struggling out there though. Look at him. He's understeered off again. He's down to P4. Is Yuri going to maybe look at the move? No, he isn't. Yeah, and oh, hang on. Deck going up the inside of Yuri. Oh, they've collided with each other. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. I think Deck might have struggled to get into the corner there, and I wonder if these guys are really understeering in this start of the race. Really struggling to keep it onto track. Anyway, these guys aren't they having a race of their own already? Here goes Alistair on the Camel straight. They're going to be able to go round the outside of CJ. CJ breaks much later, and I'll tell you what, that was really good defending there. He managed to really hold it on the track. I thought maybe it'd go deep, but he didn't. He managed to keep up it. But anyway, Alistair going to try and go around the outside of CJ. CJ's going to show him off the road. No, he doesn't. He keeps it on track. Keeps them both on track. And them two last another day. CJ still in the lead of the race in his, what I believe is his Ferrari. Alistair's, what is Alistair's? Maybe the Senna livery, the McLaren one? Again, yeah, I presume. Anyway, it looks quite nice. I quite like the livery. Again, I feel like he's had the issue with the basic car livery, unfortunately, with Codemasters being Codemasters. Anyway, Alistair right on the back of CJ. He is tasting blood from the, well, Ferrari livery driver. Obviously, CJ is in the Aston Martin this season, so we can't say Ferrari driver. Well, I don't believe I can anyway. Ooh, I thought they were going to crash into each other then. So we start lap 4 in this race. CJ saving ERS. Alistair is in a hurry by the looks of it. He goes down the inside of CJ and into the lead Alistair goes. However, he is sacrificing himself. DRS. So I'm not quite sure what his plan is here because Chris is right on the back of these guys as well. Chris might be able to get Alistair by the end of the straight. Here we go then. On the Kemmel straight, CJ should fly past. Here we go. There he goes. And to tell you what, Chris isn't attacking Alistair. I thought maybe he might have had a chance, but maybe not. Alistair is looking so much quicker through the corners as Lewis and Chris going side by side. And that is Lewis getting out of shape, trying to get past. And so Chris keeps 3rd place. Look at Alistair, he is all over the back of CJ. I don't really understand why he sent it into turn 1. He could have just waited on the straight and he'd probably be gone by now. But he is, he's hanging in there as Lewis has disconnected again. His internet I don't think is very good. As there's been an incident, I think Lewis's car's just, oh no, it's someone at the back. Who is that? I don't know. Someone's got off somewhere. But unfortunate for Lewis, our championship leader, down into 10th place. Don't know if he's needing an invite. I'm hoping someone will invite him. It's annoying, with Cam I'd be able to invite him, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to invite him right now. Maybe when everyone goes into set 2 where no overtakes, maybe we'll give it a go. I don't even know if I've got him on PlayStation though. Anyways, yeah, let's go back to the race and stop waffling, which I've seemed to have done a lot tonight. Chris is still in this fight for 3rd. I think with Lewis's disconnection, everyone's been held up a little bit, which is unfortunate for them. Here we go, on the Kemmel straight once again. CJ in the lead. Will he be in the lead by the end of the straight? He won't be, as Alistair takes the lead of the race. CJ going to try and send it down the inside though. Round the outside he has to back off. And Alistair takes the lead. This is his time to shine and bolt away. I think CJ knows he's quicker and he's trying to get past him in any sort of attempt possible. But he also has to be careful. He doesn't sacrifice his own race at the same time and costs himself dear because one mistake. And it could take him out the title fight, honestly. He's, with his luck at the moment and his results recently, he needs good results, he needs consistent results. And at the moment, trying to get past Alistair, yeah, he's pushing, he's clipping the inside curves. You cannot clip those, they make you lose the car so much often. And yeah, easy mistake to make, but here we go then. If anything, CJ is now under threat from Chris, as Lewis thankfully is bringing a bit of joy, and I was just about to message him to ask if he needs an invite. What's that in the white lines, CJ? I do wonder. Anyway, by the looks of it, Alistair's not pulled away. He has not been able to get that gap to CJ, so CJ can hang in another lap. We start lap 6. No pit stops yet. I'm starting to wonder if maybe rain is forecast, as Deck, Jack and Jess have all pitted, so I'm not 100% certain what the strategies are right now. It does look very overcast, and for it to be lap 6 and they not to pit is quite interesting. Anyway, here goes CJ on the straight, should fly by, and so he does, into P1. Chris isn't again a threat. I wonder if he's just going to happily settle for, once again, another podium. At the moment, I believe he is the record holder for podiums. Is Alistair going to try and go around the outside of CJ? Is he going to maybe go for the switchback? I think he's going to take the inside line going into the corner to try and get a switchback on CJ, but it won't be enough. CJ keeps himself in the lead for now. Alistair, though, it seems like Alistair, when he's behind CJ, he's so much quicker, but like when he's in clear air, he has nothing. He has no pace whatsoever. It seems to be a common theme in this game. And unfortunately, it seems to be affecting Alistair quite a bit. However, if I'm second place in this race, I'm thinking about maybe pitting onto the soft tyres, getting him off the car, and getting the undercut done on CJ if he doesn't pit. Do the opposite of the leader is what I'd do. And well, Alistair is settling into P2. He's not going to make the move just yet. As CJ saving the ERS. Is he going to pit? CJ pits then. So Alistair doing the opposite, like I said. Chris also pitting. So maybe a little mistake here from Alistair, maybe staying out. But I would do the opposite if I was Alistair. I think it would make sense. Is pit stops to go then? CJ leaves. Well, oh, he's been held up. He's been held up quite a bit. And I think Chris Johnson. Oh, no, he hasn't. Game's lagging. As those pit crew turn into Sonic then. I thought Chris might have gotten ahead of CJ with the traffic, but he doesn't. So he might have still got held up though, because there was traffic. Anyway, CJ comes out third, Chris Johnson just out of DRS range. As Deck and Yuri have found themselves on circuit with each other again. And well, this does look like a rivalry which we might want to keep an eye out on. Yuri gets past Deck into P5. Is Daniel going to have a look at Deck? He is. And around the outside he goes as well. And that is Deck, who's lost 2 places. Unfortunately for him, out of absolute nowhere, Daniel gets a 3-second time penalty. You can't be getting them. Sunshine. As Jack Pearson all over the back of him as well, though. Has he did? He has done a pit stop. Okay, his tyres will be useful at the end of the race. I was going to look at the positions gained, but I thought maybe not. We'll wait till the pit stops are done. Kaya, who is driving right now, has just messaged me on Discord. He is in the session. So I think he is anyway. Yeah, he is. Why are you messaging me while driving, Kaya? Anyway, lost for words. Alistair into the pit lane. I'm not surprised. You don't want to lose too much time being undercut, even with the overcut. Overcut is powerful around here, but that's with a few extra laps under your belt. And I'm starting to think those mediums might just be dying off. Alistair comes out the pit lane. I think CJ might be miles clear of Alistair here. He is. I think CJ's. Yeah, he has. He's miles ahead. Yeah. Has he even got? Yeah, Alistair's out of DRS range. Chris Johnson, though, he is in DRS range. I tell you what, Chris might be on for a P2 here. As we go on to the Kemmel Straight. Is Chris going to fight it? He's not burning ERS, but he's using DRS. Alistair's saving ERS, interestingly. He sits back. I wonder if these two are working together. As Lesty 3-second time penalty. That is unlucky for him. Stay Sports. These guys are joining very late. We've had like 3 drivers who weren't racing. Who aren't on the grid right now, who have just joined mid-race. Not really sure why, but as Jack Craig's in the pits again. Not quite sure what's going on with this field. Anyway, so the fight for P2 is still going on. So is this fight between Yuri, Dan, and Deck, and Jack Pearson, who is just about hanging on in there. But these guys on softs will have more grip. Jess also on the back of Neil. I think his name was Neil. Someone told me that it was like Neil. I think it was Neil. I'm going to call him Neil. If I'm wrong, I do apologise. My memory, I've got brain fog tonight. Not feeling too well myself tonight. So You do apologise once again for a poor commentary you're getting tonight. On to lap 9 out of 11. CJ, fastest lap of the race. He is pushing. He wants this win. He's only got to survive 2 more laps. However, Spa is a very, very long circuit. And one mistake, and Alistair can be straight back into the DRS. So, CJ, 1.6 seconds ahead. He's got that gap. Chris has just fallen out of the DRS zone. Someone who hasn't is Daniel. Is he going to attack Yuri? Is he going to send it? I think he's going to send it. Down the inside he goes on Yuri Racer. And it will go to around the outside, back onto the inside, and he has made the move stick. Yuri going to try and go for the switchback though, and I think he might have made it stick. He has. He keeps the place for now. And so Yuri stays in P4, Daniel with the 3-second time penalty. So Yuri doesn't really need to defend this as such. However, I feel like he might think that Deck, well, he's been a threat this whole race. So he wants to have that car between them both. So yeah, Yuri will defend this. I'm not surprised. And yeah, meanwhile, gap to the leaders, 1.1 seconds. Alistair is pushing. He's using all his ERS to try and get into the DRS of CJ. And I tell you what, he has succeeded. Both of their ERSs aren't looking spectacular. So we'll keep an eye on this. I think CJ has... Ooh, who got DRS? Did he get DRS? Didn't get DRS. As Alistair fastest lap of the race, he has burnt literally everything to try and get that. Will he keep it by the end? We will see who got the better exit out of there. I think CJ did. They're both using ERS. I think CJ lasts another day, which means this will probably go to the final lap, unless CJ can keep this gap as it is. Indeed, Alistair does not get DRS. So the next 2 laps are the most important ones for this race. Meanwhile, Daniel going to try and overtake Yuri again. He makes the move stick. Does Yuri be able to fight back? I think he's too far back. I'll tell you what, Daniel went a bit deep there, but I don't think Yuri's going to be able to make a run on him. As it's weaving a little bit there. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe to put Daniel off. I think Yuri's going to have to wait until the last lap to get back past him. I want to point out Lewis Craig, who's in a world of his own right now. He's with Leicester. Very unlucky with the disconnection. I tell you what, if he loses this championship by like something like 20 points, I think it's safe to say we can blame whatever internet broadband he is with, because it's the second time he's been messed up by his internet provider. Meanwhile, Jack Craig has DNF'd, but it's this fight for the win as we go on to the final lap in just a second. CJ is going to want to abuse every little bit of circuit he can get to keep out of that DRS window. It is 9/10 of a second between the top 2. I told you it would be a fight for the top 2. I didn't expect it to be these 2 fighting for the lead though. Meanwhile, Jack Pearson and Deck are going side by side. We're going to look at that in a second. Final lap to go as we go up Rouge onto Radion, and who is going to come out of this straight? The leader at the moment, CJ Will. Where's Alistair? He's got the DRS. They're both burning. They're both abusing their ERS like crazy. But CJ stays in the lead for now. He's just got to navigate these final few sections without getting sent on. I'll tell you what though, Alistair looking very dangerous behind him. And I wouldn't take out Blanchimont. That is probably the next overtaking move. Unless Alistair can maybe find somewhere where CJ might be napping. I'm talking maybe on the exit of Pouon, where he might want to be saving ERS, but Alistair could easily send it on him and then pull away. Here we go, through Pouon. Will there be a send from Alistair here? No, he won't. He'll sit behind. It's going to be Blanchimont, where Alistair's going to try. Look, he's all over the rear end of CJ, sorry. Here we go, into Blanchimont. Who will come out of this straight? at the end. Will it be CJ who's going to be leading, or Alistair be victorious here in Belgium? Here we go. They're both burning ERS. CJ's ran out of ERS. Tell you who hasn't. Alistair. He's got this ERS. However, Alistair decides to go on the outside. CJ's going to send it up the inside. Who's going to come out top? CJ. They have contact. CJ's going to get the inside line. Who's going to come out top? It looks like Alistair's just going to be able to win this race. 79 milliseconds separates the two of them. And that is Alistair who wins the race in Spa. CJ in P2. Chris in third. Yuri will get fourth. Acorn will get fifth. Neil will get sixth. Daniel finishes down in seventh after the penalty. Jess gets eighth. Jack Pearson will finish in ninth. Lewis will get 10th. Matty C 11th. Leslie 12th. And then we go to Dark Shadow, who will get himself 13th, and Red Bull Kim will get 14th. Let's go through liveries while we're here, as Alistair wins, obviously. I think he's running the Senna McLaren, is my guess. I think that's a Ferrari, that's the Lotus, that's been confirmed. Yuri's... I'm not quite sure. Silver and green's an interesting... I would have said McLaren again, but I'm not quite sure. Deck is, I believe, the orange arrows. I'm pretty sure he said that in the chat. Nils, another McLaren maybe? That's a Force India. I quite like that. Who's that is running that? That is Daniel. I like that. That's a. I think that's a Force India. And I'll tell you what, if it is, that's really bang on. I really like that. As Neil gets driver of the day. Thomas just told us that Lewis is lap in qualifying would have got in front row in TGP1. That's a crazy lap. As Alistair then remains victorious. If you look at their suits, I was going to say they all have the same, but they don't. Alistair sprays his team in champagne. And I'm sure CJ is going to be slightly gutted that he didn't win, but I'm sure he won't complain with P2. Someone who will be complaining, who I wouldn't be surprised, is Lewis. Let's go through the race results then. Alistair, fastest lap and the win, gets him 26 points in the bag. CJ P2, Chris Johnson P3, Yuri 4th, Acorn 5th, Neil Jack 6th, Daniel 7th, Jess 8th, Jack Pearson 9th, Lewis Craig 10th, Matty C 11th, Leslie 12th, Dark Shadow 13th, Fedbalkin 14th, and Jack Craig with the DNF finishes 15th and last. So, good race that, I think. Ending was very tight. I couldn't tell who was going to come out. I thought CJ might have been able to get the traction down and get that at the end there, but he couldn't, unfortunately for him. We now go to Hungary, I believe. I'm just going to have a little sip of a drink. Yeah, so now the championship's probably looking quite spicy. With Lewis's 10th place. Tell you who I just realised is missing is Luca. Rather, he was racing and I didn't notice him at all. I don't think he's in the session. So that could be huge for the championship. As Wet Lemons have been in the chat. Apologies, I've only just seen this. Alistair's livery is a great effort, thinking it's the centre one, yeah, agreed. Chris running high wings by the looks. Alistair has this, doing great. Agreed. So, we have 3 viewers. Hello to you all. I hope you're all having a great night. Good Wednesday night, middle of the week. Only 2 more days until the weekend, and then we'll be at Las Vegas for the real life Grand Prix, which I'm sure will be hopefully quite good. Last season's was quite good. A lot of people are saying it's going to be not great. I hope it's great. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to watch it, so I won't care at the end of it. As we are loading into Hungary. Like I said, I do apologise if my commentary is not the greatest. I've got a really dry throat, and my body is just like feeling right now. I think I've got a cold coming on, which isn't what you want to have when doing commentary. But um, if it was me and Cam, it would have been even worse. By the sounds of it, he's more ill than me, so um, that would be tragic. You just would both just be like, you'd have no energy from us both. Well, I can try and bring energy, even if it doesn't sound it. I am trying my hardest. I'm just gonna get the stream up on my phone so I can see the chat live. Because at the moment, what I'm doing is little backstory while we're loading. Because I'm using my PC to get all the graphics up and things, I'm using my PC to actually stream, to watch the race itself. I'm not able to view the chat at the same time. I only have one monitor. So anyway, none of you asked for that. I don't know why I'm telling you this. I'm just waffling. Yeah, into qualifying, Hungary. I really quite like Hungary. One of my stronger tracks on the game. As CJ says, evening all. Evening to you too. Well done on your P2. Yeah, let's hope this is going to be as good as a race as Belgium or Italy. I really enjoyed Italy. I think that was last week. I hope we get something similar tonight. Let's have one more sip of the drink before we get to going. So we will go on board with Alistair, who won last race. Where is he? 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 There he is. Into turn one. He goes then. As I don't have a track map up, so it's going to be turns. Into turn two, clip the inside curb, not too much though, you'll spin the car, and then run the car wide into turn three. Turn four, fast, you don't want to cut the inside curb too much, don't want to run wide through there either. Turn five, don't run the inside curb at all, it will spit your car out. Into turn six, and then seven, decently done there. Turn 8, these curves are so nasty. Turn 9, like you touched them wrong once and it's over. Into 10 and 11, and it's okay for Alistair. Only P5 for him. P12, turn 12 coming up, and then you've got the slow bit of the section. You really have to get this spot on for a great exit into the final corner. Shift down, get on the throttle somewhat early, and it is looking like a wet lemons pole position. It is only by a small amount though. That is wet lemons in his green car. What car is this, Mr. Lemons? I am intrigued by it. Green and white. So wet lemons on pole position then. In Hungary, Lewis Craig 48 milliseconds behind him, P2. CJ again, good qualifying from him in P3. Alistair P4, not great lap from him, it looked okay, but only P4 apparently. Jack Pearson 5th, Yuri 6th, Jess up in 7th place. Deck in 8th, Daniel 9th, Matty C 10th, Leslie the Twig 11th, Neil 12th, Jack Craig 13th, Dark Shadow 14th, Safe Sports 15th, Mick Schumacher in 16th, Chris Johnson 17th, and Red Bull Kim 18th. Chris Johnson 17th place. That is his worst qualifying of the season by a country mile. That is something I did not expect from, well, their Lotus driver for tonight. As Lewis is saying, his Wi-Fi is going to get booted to outer space after this, so we won't be seeing him for the remainder of the season if he does that. Apparently, Chris had a massive snap in Sector 2, which puts him in the wall, so unlucky for him. CJ put, just out of curiosity, deliberately only using onboard cam. I do apologise, CJ. I'll use the wider cam. I thought the thought process through that was I was hoping, well, I say I was hoping. I thought that whoever it was in second, Lewis was going to go for whoever was in first. It threw me off. I will use the broadcast cam more often. I notice I do it a lot, and I need to crack down on it. So I do apologise. Who's winning tonight? I wonder. Put your thoughts in the comments below. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. So the Hungarian Grand Prix lights out, and away we go. It looks like a good start between the two leaders. Who is going to come out in front though? It looks like Wet Lemons is going to be in the lead. Is that Lewis Craig going down the inside of Wet Lemons? He tries it, and I tell you what, it works. He's into the lead. Lewis Craig takes the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix on lap 1. As Wet Lemons, he's not had the best start then. Down in P2, I tell you what, CJ nearly ran into the back of him there. But so far, it looks like Lewis Craig is going to be your leader as he comes out of Sector 1. Yeah, good start from Lewis, who had a little lag spike, and I think that caught Wet Lemons a bit of surprise there, because he almost looked like he had to weave out the way. I'm hoping his Wi-Fi is not going to be too bad, and I presume again a McLaren livery. It's like, oh, Lewis, not Lewis, Wet Lemons, all out of shape. That puts him down into 3rd place. Unfortunate for him, CJ up to P2 in his Ferrari livery. He's now going to chase down Lewis. CJ's massive pace jump, by the way. I wonder if he's been trying to put in a bit of practice so he can fight for his championship, because I know he's definitely going to be able to fight the championship. He's just making those odd mistakes. I'll tell you what, no mistakes have been made so far from him tonight. Lewis Craig, as his AI, I do wonder if his Wi-Fi is just kicking off again. He takes the fastest lap of the race and has led a full lap of the track as Chris Johnson and Say Sports going side by side. Who's going to come out victorious out of this? I think Chris Johnson's going to get him. Yes, he does. Bit of lag going on between them two as well. As CJ, meanwhile, overtakes CJ. Overtakes Lewis for the lead of the race, who is disconnected again. I feel for him. He's trying to fight for the title, the championship fight, and he is out of the session. CJ now leads in Hungary. So he now needs to get on, makes no mistakes, no penalties. And I tell you what, he's already a second ahead of Wet Lemons. So, good start from CJ, who started in 3rd, I think it was. Again, 3rd place. So, 3rd place seems to be the good starting place right now. Started 3rd last race, and he took the lead, and now he's into the lead again. Maybe 3 is his lucky number. Meanwhile, Lewis Craig, I thought he was going to have a spin, realised he's not actually in the session, as he's dropping down into 13th. CJ fastest lap of the race. So he's pushing, as Chris Johnson is also really lagging. I'm not quite sure. Maybe this is EA this time. I'm not quite sure. Wet Lemons is sticking to CJ, by the way, and so is Jack Pearson, who's in P3. He's got some good pace. I wouldn't count him out. Say that as he half slides his way through the corner. As Daniel has pitted quite early on. I wonder if he had front wing damage in that. I really love that livery. Same with Alistair. I really like their liveries. Because making a livery on this game is a nightmare. So, CJ then. He is leading. And he's doing a good job. As it's that Yuri off it is. I think Hulkenberg went off there, or Perez, one of the two. It looks like he's gone side by side with someone and tapped their side pod, or he's maybe ran on the curb. Unlucky for the Dutchman, as who's gone off? Oh, it's Yuri. I thought that was someone else. Unlucky for Yuri Racer as we go on to lap 4. Wet Lemons looking a little bit closer to CJ. However, he sits behind for now. Is he going to maybe make a move here? No, he won't. He's too far back. Yuri into the pits. He's going to have a lot of working to do to get himself up into the points again. I think this is the most drivers we've had all season in the grid. So it's nice to see 18 drivers on starting tonight. So welcome to you all. I think we might have a few new. Have we had a new starter tonight? I don't think we've had. I think these are... Oh, Lesty. I think he hasn't raced until now. He's been busy, but he is back, which is lovely to see. So yeah, CJ staying in the lead of the race. Tell you who we can keep an eye on. Alistair, who is all over the back of Deck. So that was track limits savvy there. Who is going to lead lap 5? I wonder. Lewis Craig joins back, but I tell you what, he's got a bit of a mountain to climb as Say Sports and Mick are fighting out for P12. As we go on to start finish straight again, I think Wet Lemons is not close enough to make a move on CJ. Tell you what though, Wet Lemons showing good pace already. I said that he might be able to contend for wins this season. I tell you what, it is coming. We have fighting going on down in P12. Say Sports getting a bit out of shape. As Dark Shadow and Lewis Craig fight it out, and Lewis Craig drops behind Kaya, who, well, is faster than Lewis. Go on, Kaya. I like this from you. Where's this pace come from? Yeah. Championship leader. How long is this gonna last? There you go. Go on, Kaya, defend. Right, anyway, sorry. Let's watch on board with this fight, actually. Here we go. On the inside, Lewis Craig goes. Kaya, fight it, don't back off. Oh, he's giving it a go here. Hang it around the outside. Okay, maybe not. Kaya goes round. I rate the effort. Kaya's quite he doesn't like fighting people. He's Wet Lemons. Oh no, it started in the background there. Yeah, Kaya's he's quite scared of fighting because he doesn't want to interfere with people's races. Well, I like to see that from him. Meanwhile, Alistair, can he go down the inside of Deck? No, he doesn't for now. By the way, Jack Pearson has pitted. As we've got all sorts of overtakes going on here. As Chris trying to get past Nils Jack. Is he going to make a move? No, he won't. Meanwhile, Lesty has gone past Mick Schumacher. And yeah, we have combat body shots saying my guy CJ. So CJ has a fan in here. He is currently leading by 1.1 seconds at the moment, so he's out of the arrest zone. He is looking very good tonight, I have to say. I don't know if he's been practicing or if he's just woken up and realised, I'm in the title fight, let's perform. Wet Lemons, I tell you what, I think he's going for a little nap here. All of a sudden, he has dropped off a lot. He is on the soft tyres though compared to CJ's mediums. So maybe those softs are just starting to die. Maybe it's time to, head into the pit stop, look at an undercut. Jack Pearson overtakes the... Oh, I was going to say the other Jack, who is not on track anymore. He is ice skating all over, and that is front wing damage. He is having not the best season, is Jack, who was maybe looking at maybe getting a title this season, but he's struggling. He's been quite unlucky, unfortunately for him. Meanwhile, fight for P3 and 4 as Deck defending from Alistair. Alistair though opens to the arrest wide. We're going to hang it around the outside. Alistair around the outside. Oh, they've had contact. Oh, I don't know how Alistair's held on to that. Not only has no one ran into him, but he's also hung it out without spinning. So Alistair stays in P4 though. I'm sure he's not going to be too happy with that. That was more a side pod glitch than anything. So, Codemasters has been making these games for years, and yet, no matter the engine of the game, side pod glitch always seems to happen. There's fight for P3, it's looking quite toasty. Look at this, it's got like 4 cars in it. We've got Deck, Alistair, Matty C, and Jess, who she's doing really well this season, by the way. I have to give her credit. I think everyone underestimates her. Her pace on this game in general has been brilliant. As none of the top 5 decide to pit. I'm quite interested by that. I'd have thought, especially Wet Lemons, who started on the softs, is staying out on the softs. The undercut's very powerful around here. yeah, he doesn't seem to be pitting. So I wonder what his strategy, his idea is. If he's wanting to get fresher mediums on for when CJ pits, or well, say sports 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's not good for him. Mick Schumacher gets past Leslie. Them two have been fighting all race. Look at this, Jess is all over the back of Matty C. So Jess fighting for fifth on track. I'm not quite sure where that is in terms of pit stops because people have made pit stops throughout this race. Jack Pearson being one of them. Jack Pearson, by the way, with that undercut, could potentially take the lead of the race because he will be so much more quicker than the leaders. Tell you what though, CJ, he's pulled a mile away from Wet Lemons. Wet Lemons' tyres are dead. I really don't understand what his strategy is anymore. I'm quite confused. He's finally pitted. Okay. I was going to say, he's held this out quite long, as is that Mick Schumacher off the circuit? Is someone off the circuit? Brief yellow, nothing too serious by the looks of it. Matty C also pits. As here goes Alistair, is he going to maybe make a move on deck this time round? He goes to the outside line, and deck defends for now, but he's going to have DRS again, is Alistair. I think he's still going to have to sit behind again. He does. I think Alistair's getting a little bit frustrated. He knows he's quicker, but he just can't get past. Which is obviously, I imagine, quite frustrating. I definitely would be starting to just get a little bit annoyed. I know I'm quicker, but I can't seem to make the overtake. Meanwhile, oh, maybe a little send there. Sneaky look. Jack Pearson, he is catching Chris Johnson quite quickly on those fresh mediums. He does need to make them a while though. He has also got mega undercut. 3 seconds on Wet Lemons with that undercut. So this is what I'm saying. This is now getting to the gap where CJ is going to be starting to lose time to Jack Pearson. Now, I know he will have as Deck and Alistair pit. He will have fresher tyres, so it might not affect him too much in the end. But yeah, as Jess goes into P2, Chris Johnson in P3. Chris, who hasn't pitted. Tell you what though, he is obviously coming from the back at the moment. P3, he will probably be about 7th on track, which isn't too bad. Jack Pearson then in 4th place. He is looking really racy tonight. I don't know where did he, well, for one, where did he start? That's a good question. That's P5. Did he race in last race? Have I completely forgotten about him in last race? I don't know. Daniel, meanwhile, in his Force India livery, gets himself up to P9. All a little bit of contact between Matty C and Neil. I presume, 2 McLarens. Or are they default liveries? They're in fact, exactly the same livery. Now, rather these two are really good mates and they've gone for the same livery or something. It's what's going on here? Lewis is all over the place, and that is making Leslie's life absolute hell by the looks of it, because he's lagging everywhere. And I tell you what, if I'm Luca, I am watching this and I'm thinking, this is my chance. This is he's had that time off where, this in TGP1. Obviously, I had pace to fight Casper for the championship, but I missed too many rounds. Round 1 and 2 was where I lost it. Luca's probably gone into missing this race thinking the same mindset. I've lost it because I'm going to miss these 2 rounds. Well, I'll tell you what, Lewis, down in 13th place with these internet connections issues, Luca must be thanking all sorts of gods for it. I don't know if he's a religious person, but if he is, he's definitely thanking whatever god he believes in. As who is that? Who is that car? Dark Shadows just whacked open a breaking board, unfortunately. So we say goodbye to that. Meanwhile, fight for P8. I need to stop going on board and actually look at the cars. So yeah, we've got a fight here. Ooh, yellow flag. Who's that for? I'm not sure. CJ Pitts. Right, this is going to be interesting here. So Jack Pearson, he's coming through the final sector now. Where will CJ come out in comparison? I think Jack Pearson might be the leader here. Comes through the final corner. Actually, this is going to be close. Here we go. CJ coming out of the pit lane. Is it going to be close? I can't tell. It might be. Here comes Jack Pearson. And he is going to take the net lead of the race. Wet Lemons also ahead of CJ. However, CJ is on much grippier tyres. So let's not take him out of the equation. Jack Pearson at the moment, though, race leader. Bear in mind, I don't know if I think I said it in week 1. He had only done 45 minutes on this game. I don't know how many hours he has done since. I'm not going to check. But I can't imagine it was too much. He doesn't like this game, from what I've heard. Well, I think I would maybe be starting to like the game now that I'm in P2. So, Jack Pearson, your net leader. Jess Ball, meanwhile, she is technically the leader on circuit, I'm sure. That must feel quite good. Meanwhile, we have a few lap cars already. Red Bull Kim and Dark Shadow are fighting for the wooden spoon. Here goes Dark Shadow around the outside. And he's been nearly forced into the pit lane there as they've collided with each other, but Dark Shadow makes the move. Jess pits, and here we go. On to lap 13. We've got 3 cars in the space, gap of about 2 car lengths. Here we go. Wet Lemons around the outside. Is CJ going to follow? He is. He's going to go down the inside of Jack Pearson, and Jack Pearson drops 2 places in one straight, unfortunately for him. But Wet Lemons is your race leader, and CJ is looking incredibly racy. Look at him, he's all over the back of Wet Lemons. He wants to get past, and he wants to go. And I don't blame him one bit. Though if I'm Wet Lemons, I'm thinking just hold these tyres on. Those softs will die. They will die very quickly. Wet Lemons found that out. And I do wonder if that's Wet Lemons' strategy. Drag the softs out and make it work in the final section of the race, because CJ's tyres will only last a certain amount. Tyre wear around here is abysmal. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting here tonight as Kai gets a lap. As we go on into the final few corners, is Jack Pearson going to be able to stick with these guys? To be honest, I think he'd be happy with a podium, as he will just about be able to get DRS. Oh, hang on. CJ's taken the lead of the race. I thought for a minute that Wet Lemons goes down the inside. Is it going to make the move stick? I think CJ's going to have the traction. Yes, he does. He keeps P1. I thought Wet Lemons had DRS because there was another lap car. I'm not sure who it was. I think it might be Jack Craig. And so I thought that Wet Lemons might have been able to get away with that, but he doesn't. As CJ Sector 1 fastest lap, he's got the strategy worked out. He's got mega pace. At the moment, driver of the day goes to him so far because he's just been on fire tonight. I believe that is Jack Craig. No, it's not. Who is that red car? Who is it? I'm confused. Oh, it's Kaya. I swear he got lapped. Oh. Anyway, I'm confused. CJ's already getting a second gap. I think this is safe to say, unless CJ gets a penalty or spins, he just needs to cruise around for the next 3 laps, and he has that victory. And at the moment, fastest lap of the race as well, which I'm sure he definitely will not complain about. I said don't take CJ out of this the equation for the championship, because yeah, he has really good pace. He's just had the odd few mistakes which has cost him, and at the moment, well, without Luca driving and with Lewis having a really bad night, the door was wide open for him, and also Alistair. who's not had the greatest night. He's been stuck behind Deck for the majority of the race. Meanwhile, Leslie and Lewis are still fighting out. Lewis's pace, well, with that sort of hacking, immense. He's just teleported nearly, what, 5 seconds ahead of Leslie? That's not very legal. Stewards, get on it. Yeah, I feel really bad for Lewis. His internet has really cost him tonight. It's a huge amount of points because it's not like just one race weekend where he's lost out. It's 2 races where he's going to be finishing very low in the points. And it adds up. CJ's double podium going on. Second and a first. That's going to gain massive points on him. Wet Lemons obviously having a good race tonight. Alistair at the moment 5th place. Will that become 4th place? Talking of the devil, here we go. Into turn 1, I think this should be move complete. Deck's going to hang it on the inside. Alistair's going to go for the switchback though. Who's going to get the better run? I think Deck. Brilliant defending from him as Red Bull Kim's DNF'd in the barrier. Deck has managed to somehow hold on for P4 again. Deck's defending is absolutely brilliant. And Alistair, he must just be getting really frustrated. He just cannot overtake him. And yes. Yeah. So, Deck stays in P4 for now. As yellow flags again, I presume that's just Kaya getting out the way. I do worry about these yellow flags because if if it's on a straight, it's Lewis Craig again. I'm presuming this is lag. It is. This must be so annoying if you're Leslie. Look at this. It's horrible. I could not imagine. This would be so frustrating and also scary because you've just got a car lagging in front of you 24/7. That must be a nightmare. Anyway, let's go back to the fight for P4. As is Alistair's sitting behind again. I tell you who has caught up in this party. I don't know if he's been here the whole time and I've completely missed him. Chris Johnson, he is there in 6th place, maybe ready to pick up the pieces on the final lap, where Deck will be most vulnerable. Been an interesting race this. That top 3, very, very interesting. Obviously, CJ, who wasn't, I can't imagine wasn't very happy as Matty C gets past Jess. He probably wasn't like, or he got 2nd place, I'm sure he's happy about that, but he probably wasn't very happy that he lost the win on the final lap. Well, I'll tell you what, he's going to be delighted with this. It's been an unstoppable drive from CJ. Wet Lemons, who claimed that he bottles every time he gets a chance of any sort of result. Currently in P2, I'm not going to commentate as curse him, but P2, brilliant. Jack Pearson, like I said, oh, okay, he's gone to say hello to the fans. P3, after not even doing an hour on the game before the season started, in P3. Deck P4, however, Alistair's going to be all over the back of him. I'll tell you who is over the back of all of them. Chris Johnson, here he goes. DRS, he's got all the ERS in all of them, I think. Here he goes. Is he going to maybe make a move? No, you won't. Alistair. I thought Alistair was going to go for a crazy send then. Who is going to finish P4 in this race? I think Deck has it covered. He has driven a really good defensive drive, Deck. He's obviously not been as quick as Alistair and Chris, but he's managed to just about get that gap on the straight and just defend Alistair at whatever place possible. It's been amazing from him. Anyway, here's our race leader, CJ. Amazing drive, and one which I feel like he should be given a lot of credit for, because he's got the right strategy. He's had the pace. It's just been perfect. And here he goes. Final 2 corners. CJ, he's going to be absolutely delighted. He's done it in, well, he's a Ferrari fan, so he's done it in red. CJH is your race winner in Hungary as he weaves across the line. Wet Lemons, P2. Brilliant result from him. And Jack Pearson will get himself P3. I'm sure he's also delighted about that. And Deck will just about hold on for P4. Look how close it is between those guys. Alistair P5, Chris Johnson P6. Matty C 7th, just 8th. Neil Jack will get himself P9, very lonely P9. And Daniel, after I think he must have had damage on lap 1 or something, will finish in 10th place. I'm sure he won't complain too much with that. Leslie will finish 11th on track. Something's happened in the back. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. So Sports will get 12th on track, but Yuri will get 12th on track instead. Lewis, very unfortunate for him. Oh, he gets fastest lap and 13th place. So Sports must have had quite a big penalty there. Mick Schumacher will get 15th, and Jack Craig, who's right, given him 2 more laps, and he might have had Mick Schumacher there, will get 16th, I think, unless penalties say otherwise. No, so Jack Craig will get P16. But it is CJH who is your race winner. I told you, don't take him out of the championship fight. I've been saying that since day 1. And well, here he is, race winner. And at the moment, having a very, very good night. I'm sure Singapore is eyeing up and maybe another win or a podium. So, your podium. Very unique podium, I think. I quite like this podium. CJ, a man who is British. I don't want to say he's Scottish because I know he lives in Scotland. I don't think he is from Scotland or the other way around. He lifts his trophy up in front of the Ferrari outfits as he sprays, ironically, the same exact man as Alistair sprayed in the last race, as he's getting sprayed by who's that? Is that Bear Lemons? I think that's Bear Lemons. Who's for some reason taken the centre of the picture. So, your race results. CJ wins from Wet Lemons, from Jack Pearson, from Deck, from Alistair, from Chris Johnson, from Matty C, from Jess, from Neil Jack, from Daniel, from Leslie, Yuri in 12th after that incident earlier in the race. Lewis Craig with his internet gets 13th, but with the fastest lap. Say Sports 14th, Mick Schumacher 15th, Jack Craig 16th, Dark Shadow 17th, and Red Bull Kim being your DNF in 18th place. So, this championship order must look insane. Because Lewis, he was only 20 points ahead. Actually, let's look at what the championship was before very quickly. So, Lewis was 48 points ahead of CJ. 2 wins make 40 points. I don't know how many points Lewis has got, but I tell you what, them two are now very, very close. He didn't get 2 wins, he only won 1 race. But my point is, he's much closer to Lewis now. And I tell you what, I told you don't take him out of the championship fight. He's in it now. Alistair as well, good results from him. That will move him up. Chris, I believe, where did Chris finish? He finished quite high, didn't he? He got like 6th from what was near enough dead last. Very good result from him. Yeah, really good result. I'm feeling very sorry for Lewis with his internet. He's not happy. He said there's no point at this point. To that I say, try anyway. Ghosting's on, so it shouldn't really affect anyone. Probably a bit distracting, but that's how you beat your rivals. I mean, look at Mario Kart. You can use bombs and everything to stop your rivals, so why can you not do that in F1? Is what I say to that. Yeah. So we wait to go again for the final race of the night, Singapore. Not my favourite circuit. If it's raining, it's going to be about an hour's race, even though it's a 25% race, because Singapore in the wet just carries on and on and on. And yeah, not sure what's going on there. But yeah, CJ then, by far at the moment, my driver of the day. Driver of the night, should I say. It's not day. Marco is saying horrible night for Ferrari. That's because both drivers aren't racing, I believe. Who's? Yeah, I think both drivers. Yeah, Mick Schumacher's racing, of course. Luca, who's not racing. Yeah, not the best night for Ferrari, but you still got one more race, Marco. So don't um, take yourself out of um, this just yet, where Lemon says the fastest laps were so close. I didn't see it. I know Lewis got it by a margin from CJ, but I presume between them, Lewis has just won the session again. Oh, he's not going to be able to qualify. He's going to be at the back. He had this in Miami. Oh, this is CJ's golden opportunity. If he wins tonight in Singapore, he's going to be like maybe even ahead of Lewis. Not sure about ahead, but he'll definitely be close if this ruins Lewis up even more. It is a dry qualifying, um, so it won't be a 10-minute lap time. Let me get a Singapore map up. I don't know if Singapore have names for the corners. Let's have a look. It does. She's memorable corner. I ain't gonna. Oh, the only one I'll know is Singapore sitting, so we're gonna just do that one. The rest of them I've never heard Crofty ever say, so it'll just be turn 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go. Let's do this. Who are we gonna go on board with? I think it has to be CJ. So let's get that. There he is. It's really the easiest one to find actually. Shortest name. Here we go then. Into turn 1. Clip the apex. Turn 2, run on the curb. Not too much though. It'll spin your car out. Into turn 3, get on the throttle early, and then going up to turn 4 and then 5. Clip the apex. It looks really high, the curb, but it isn't. As you go through turn 6, like kink, and then into turn 7. Brake late. Don't run on the curbs at all through here. You'll just be like a skateboard. Into turn 8. Clip the apex there. Again, not as high as you think it is. Turn 9. Same apex. Not too high. It makes it look really high, but it really isn't. And then through this Singapore sling. 10. 11. And 12. And then this is a really horrible corner. Blind corner. Brake late. Clip the apex on the left. Get on the throttle early. It's a good lap so far from CJ. DRS open. Then your ERS. As you go into turn 16. And then 17. Clip the apex. Don't run wide through here. White lines. Horrible, horrible, horrible bit of circuit. As you go into turn 16, again, curbs look high. Turn 17, that curb's high. Don't need the barrier on the right, which CJ has done. Into turn 18 and 19, the final 2 corners, and CJ has got himself pole position again. Very, very tight margins once again. CJ is your man on pole position. He has woken up. He has woken up from what was a bad spell of races. He is now again cooking mighty quick around one of these circuits again. So CJ by 58 milliseconds of a lap time ahead of Alistair. Alistair again looking really good, strong tonight. These two, a league of their own again, driver of the days. Chris Johnson P3, Jack Pearson P4, Neil Jack P5, Acorn 6th, Mick Schumacher 7th, Daniel 8th, Jack Craig 9th, Matty C 10th, Say Sports 11th, Jess Ball 12th, Dark Shadow 13th, Red Bull Kim 14th, Speed Y Racer 15th, and Wet Lemon 16th. We're missing 2 drivers. We're missing Lewis and we're missing someone else. I don't know who. I think it's Leslie. I don't see Leslie, do I? No, I think we're missing Leslie as well. I don't know if that's been spoken about on the chat. Or if he disconnected. I know Lewis is in the lobby who's disconnected again. That's his. I think that's his night over because I don't think his car is going to spawn on the circuit now he's not in the session again. But wow. Okay, what a qualifying session. It is dry here in Singapore. So dry tyres will be used. I'm just going to have another sip of a drink before we get going. Crack open another drink. So it's going to be, I honestly think, a really good scrap between CJ and Alistair. Both have won one race tonight. So it's going to be like Who wins the whole weekend? Will it be CJ or will it be Alistair? Here we go then. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights in Singapore. It's lights out, and away we go. Who gets the better launch off the line? I think it's CJ. CJ takes the lead, keeps the lead, should I say, of the race in Singapore. Alistair P2, Chris Johnson P3, all looking fairly clean as we've got Acorn and Daniel going side by side. Who's going to come out ahead? I think Dick around the outside. They go side by side, still on the straight, I think. Are they? It looks like Daniel has to back out for now. Meanwhile, to the leaders, CJ staying in the lead. Ride that curve a little bit. Is Alistair going to try and go around the outside? No, he won't. He will sit behind for now. And so, Alistair will stay in P2. CJ is your race leader still, so far. Meanwhile, everything else is looking all clean and dandy. No one has crashed. Lewis is still in the lobby. I don't know if you're here, Lewis. If you thought that you'd given up, you can carry on. I didn't expect the game to let you have another chance, but yeah. Who's that slowing down on the side there? Mick Schumacher. Looked like he moved over to the side. What he did. Anyway, Jury gets past Red Bull Kim for 13th. Are we going to see an overtake here? Annoyingly, I've noticed with the F1 calendar, unfortunately, it's full of straights, which on this game just means DRS trains. So lap 1 is like the most crucial lap in the race, and when you pit as well. So far though, it looks like this could be a fight for the top 3. As it's Alistair's first proper opportunity, presuming gets a good exit. He gets in the throttle, he's going to have DRS. Will he make the move on CJ? I think he's just a bit too far back. Yes, he is. Oh, here we go. We've got a move from Mick Schumacher into P5. They forced each other off. That's very Max Verstappen like. Mick Schumacher then stays in P5. That's very Max Verstappen like. It's very Mick Schumacher like as well. Ooh, bit slidey there from Nick. Will Neil Jack be able to get him back? Can I call Mick Schumacher Marco? I presume that's your name, Marco. So I'm going to call you Marco and hope I'm right with that, and I'm not going to call him the wrong name. Alistair then sits behind CJ again. This could be a overtake maybe? Why have they not got DRS in the straight? Did they add that into this year? Surely. Because, oh, sorry, I've missed an overtake there. Jack Pearson overtakes Chris. Jack Pearson again, by the way. He's shown up out of nowhere. These 3, I know Alistair didn't race the first 2 seasons. These guys going side by side on the start finish. I don't know. Yeah, these 3 have came out. I know Alistair, like I said, didn't race the first few weeks, but they've came out of thin air. And I tell you what, I feel really bad for Lewis. He had such a good gap, and it would make the final few races really, because he has the pace to fight these guys. And unfortunately for him, his internet has just ruined a lot of his hope. Those odds, which were probably about evens for him to win the title, has gone down to about 2 to 1, 3 to 1 now. Anyway, Alistair all over the back of CJ still. Like I said, this is the fight pretty much for who wins the weekend. So, and well, who is closer in the championship? Because I think they were both quite close to each other in the championship. I think CJ was slightly ahead. But if Alistair wins this, then, well, it could be a different story. On the straight again, the second straight out of, well, 4th straight really of the lap, if you count the start finish straight. And then on to the 5th one, 5th, 4th, whatever. I can't count. Looks like Alistair stays behind, probably waiting for the next straight. I'm going to get my fussy map up again because I'm missing it. As Acorn gets past Daniel. Deck has been driving a very defensive race, but I quite like it. Presuming he didn't intentionally take out Yuri, of course. I don't support that. I don't support anyone taking any rivals out of the race. Wet Lemons gets past Jack Craig. What happened to Wet Lemons? He had a bad qualifying, I presume. Anyway, Alistair on the straight. Is he going to get past CJ? It looks like he is. Alistair into the lead of the race. CJ going to go for the switchback though. Oh no, he can't. Surely hang it around the outside there. He can't. He's going to go for another switchback. Alistair looked a little bit slidey on the exit, but I presume CJ just didn't get the exit either. So at the moment now, Alistair into the lead. He's now going to hopefully try and push. You have to be careful around here though, because you turn in early a little bit too much in one of these corners. Your front left or front right is gone, like it's off your car. Anyway, on to the next straight, the second DRS zone on the lap. I honestly thought this straight was also DRS detected, but apparently not. I don't know why. Into turn 16 and 17, and we will start lap 5 very shortly. I just realised we haven't looked at tyres properly. Who is on softs? Neil, Jack, Daniel, Jess, Dark Shadow, and Red Bull Kim. Okay, just interested. What about places gained? Wet Lemons, 6 places gained. I think he must have invalidated his lap, unfortunately for him, after what was looking like a really good weekend for him. I'm sure that invalidation is going to hurt him slightly. Here we go, on the straight again. Looks like CJ is just not close enough to make the move. We're going to cut down to P6, where Deck maybe looking at a move on Neil Jack. Is he going to go on the inside? He is. Is he going to go brake later? Yes, he does. There's Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig, done that again. Daniel defends Matty C off 9th place. Saya Sports and Jess having a little fight. Looks like Saya Sports has got past Jess for 13th place. Cut to the leaders very quickly again. And are we going to see maybe a move? CJ looks a little bit closer, but straight's just not long enough for him, so he won't be able to get the move this time. Mind those white lines, boys. It is not part of the track. I don't understand why. It's part of the circuit. But Lemons passed Matty C. That must have been quite a good move. Onto this weird straight with no DRS. FIA. Duns me. What's Codemasters? It's probably Codemasters. Anyway, lap 6 of the race. Wet Lemons past Daniel. He is flying out there. I think Daniel's actually pitted, yeah. But yeah, he's flying out there tonight. CJ still in the DRS of Alistair. I think he's just happy to follow along. And then maybe get the undercut on him, or overcut, or wait until the final lap like I did on Casper, where you just wait on the final lap and then use all your DRS and ERS to get past. Deck past Mick Schumacher, or Marco, I think his name's Marco, into P5. So Deck's having a really good. I did say this to Cam a few weeks ago. I said Deck's been given quite high odds. High odds by high odds, I mean, I think it was like 15 to 1. And he deserves more credit. And he's not fighting for the championship, but he's fighting midfield, like top 5 all the time, as Alistair's all out of shape. And this is surely CJ's opportunity to get past him here. Here we go. He's not making a move. Interesting. I wonder if he just thought not really a place where you want to make an overtake. Wet Lemons gets past Neil Jack for P7. It looks like a good place for Wet Lemons to get past people there, as Yuri follows through in P8. Yuri's been kind of nowhere this race. I've not really had much notice. Obviously, he had that spin in Hungary. I can't even remember what happened in Belgium with him. He's just kind of been in no man's land this whole night, unfortunately for him. But he's up to P8, so can't be going too badly for him, I guess. Onto the straight again, out of turn 5, which will be turn 6 with a little kink. Will CJ look like? Oh, he's going to go down the inside. No. Definitely was risky, and thankfully they don't contact. And they, well, CJ nearly spun the car from looking up the rears. Um, but so he has to sit back. He has to be careful though. You can't lock up your wrist too many times, or your tires will just overheat and blow up, and you don't want that around a street circuit. So I think Red Bull Kim's gone into the barrier or something. Yeah, he's missing an end plate. CJ again on the back of Alistair. Is he going to send it up the inside again? He's getting. I wonder. He's looking like he wants to get past now. A little bit of desperation, I feel. I wonder why that is. I wonder if he's starting. He knows he's quicker, or here we go. He's getting me excited to thinking he's going to make a move, and then he doesn't. He's dummying. Well, he's trying to dummy Alistair into a mistake, but he's dummying me as well, which isn't very nice if you ask me. You make me look like a fool, CJ. Go and make a move already. As that was very close to track limits. I keep seeing these guys get very close to the white lines. I can never tell if it's actually illegal or if they're just about making it okay. Here we go. CJ on the straight. Is he going to be able to make a move? It looks like he's not. Double check he's not going to send it on one. Wet Lemons, meanwhile, all over the back of who I believe is Marco. I will get confirmation that it is. He's probably listening going, oh, for God's sake. That would have been obvious. Here goes Wet Lemons on the outside. Oh, Marco defends the inside and keeps the place. Wet Lemons going to try it down the inside again. And Marco defends it again. Good defending from Marco here. Ooh, don't hit the barrier there, lads. Yeah, managing to outbreak Wet Lemons. Wet Lemons getting shown that he can't just send it down the inside of absolutely everyone. Well, he's going to try again. Look at this. He can't get past him on the inside. Jack Craig, 3-second time penalty as Wet Lemons has gone round. He got a bit impatient. Meanwhile, fights for the lead. CJ has gotten past Alistair. I apologise for missing that. I completely was zoned in on. I think every time CJ makes an overtake, I feel like I always miss it. I do apologise. It is nothing personal. I just was too busy watching Wet Lemons and Mick Schumacher fight it out. So pit lane goes and CJ into the lead of the race, unless Alistair gets a better pit stop, which I don't think he will. Yellow flag for a green car. Who is that green car? It is Wet Lemons, who I think has gone round again. He's lost his head. Oh, he's done a Lance Stroll. I'm sure you don't really want to be, yeah, go into pits. Don't retire the car though. Just go in the pits, change your tyres. So, CJ on the back of Sayer Sports now. He needs to get past here. Soft tyres, interestingly. On the car, and it should be quite an easy move for CJ, and it's also an easy move for Alistair, who follows right through. And yeah, into P7 and 8. That's the issue now here, because they're going to come up between traffic. Alistair's going to try and go down the inside. Surely this is not an overtaking move. Oh, we sent it down the inside. CJ's going to try and get the switchback though, and CJ's going to outbrake him. He's near the barrier, and CJ's into the barrier. He's lost his front wing, and that is front wing damage there for CJ. I don't think he's lost his whole thing, but oh, that looked like really good racing until it became a bit too scruffy. And that is front wing damage for CJ, and well, I wonder if the stewards might have to have a look into that. I was wondering if these two might have clashed, and well, they have clashed, as Dark Shadow has retired from the session as they're all stuck behind Jack Craig now. He's making a little bit of a train as Alistair nearly runs into the back of him. CJ, yeah, that's not a, it's not a part of the circuit, my friend. He's going to try and go around the outside of Alistair. I feel like there's a bit of head loss going on here with CJ. Going on the Astro turf on the straight. I didn't expect that. He made the move though. Fair play to him. I thought it'd be an illegal overtake, but he's passed Jack, and he's, what, despite the front wing damage, he's managing to stick with not Jack Craig, Alistair. Yeah, that was nearly another crash. I thought Alistair and Jack were going to crash actually, um, but they didn't. Thank God, because Jesus, that would have been horrible. Back to the front. Jack Pearson, still leading the race. He's had, well, I say still leading the race. He's got the net lead. Quite quiet race from who is, I believe he's third at the moment. Don't know when he's going to pit this lap. He is saying that. Yuri also again another just really quiet race from him. And then we cut to, well, the leaders who have already clashed once this race. Will CJ be able to keep up with Alistair? I tell you what, if CJ doesn't win this race but is able to keep with Alistair, I feel like he will feel quite gutted because it'll be one of those things where you've got damage yet you're still quick and you can still win the race, but you're stuck with the damage which could compromise you. He looks like he is sticking with Alistair. He needs to be careful though, because it's definitely have gotten a warning for, well, at least going off in turn one. I imagine probably the straight as well. Um, has he got DRS saying that? He does. That's probably quite huge. Jack Pearson, meanwhile, comes out in P4. He's got a penalty though, which might cost him the podium, but he's going to be much quicker than Chris Johnson. So, yeah, 5 laps to go in this race. It has been an entertaining race from start to finish, really. As Alistair getting a little bit squeaky on the brakes there. Who is that? That's Lewis Craig's AI, who unfortunately Lewis hasn't joined back. I thought he would have, but he hasn't. I wonder if he got told not to join back because of the lag. Obviously, it nearly took out Leslie. A few times. So unfortunate for Lewis. Really entertaining for the championship battle for viewers, but as a driver, my heart would be in pieces. Um, just it's out of his control, isn't it? So yeah, not the weekend that Lewis wanted, especially how the season started, how like amazing his pace was. He was on like different levels of faster than everyone. I mean, Dom said that his Spa lap was literally fast enough to be front row in 2GP1. That says a lot. He's got great pace. Meanwhile, sorry, fight for P9 between Matty C, Jess, and Neil Jack. Who's that? Ooh, I thought Neil Jack was maybe going to make a move on Jess on the inside there. This fight is going on for P9. This is quite entertaining. Jess going to maybe go down the inside. She thinks about it. Backs off. However, this gives Neil Jack the inside line. Will Neil Jack be able to make the move? And he does. What a move from Neil Jack. He took the chance and he gave it his best and he got it. Into P7, Yuri goes. He gets past Daniel. So Force India is driving like a Force India. So it's sticking to its pace of quite midfield. As CJ. Oh, Alistair's got DRS from the purple car or Red Bull Kim. That won't make CJ very happy. I tell you what, he's getting in the way a little bit there. So I think CJ was actually pretty close to Alistair that lap. So it wasn't like it was looking. I wouldn't say he made a move, but it would have been a lot closer. But Red Bull Kim getting in the way a little bit there with the DRS won't impress him a lot. CJ's ERS is looking, well, they're both looking quite low on ERS. I'll tell you what though, these two have been incredible all night. They have both been just leading and dominating as Wet Lemons gets past Sports and Jack Pearson gets past Chris Johnson. Apologies, I'm missing all the overtakes. Is CJ going to maybe look at a move? No, he won't. Will Chris Johnson maybe have a look on Jack Pearson again? Jack isn't burning his ERS. I think he was rather saving it, or he's, yeah, it's just burning all of it. So yeah, Jack Pearson now in the P3. He needs to get a 3-second gap though. I think it's only a 3-second penalty. It is. He needs to get a 3-second gap to get himself keep his P3. I'll tell you who we need to keep an eye out on, as we're just going to make sure to see if there was any overtake between the leaders, as they are Once again, really close between each other. Again, no sign of an overtake from CJ. Yuri, P8 at the moment. Great drive from him. Saw someone going to barrier now. That Red Bull Kim is really getting in the way of other drivers. Wet Lemons as well, gained 4. Could have been higher though, but obviously the spin. Oh, CJ 3-second time penalty. That is surely got to cost him the win. Alistair won't even need to fight him off. There's 2 laps to go in this race. And I've said this so many times, it's the consistency which costs us. Oh, he's lost his head completely, hasn't he? It's the consistency which kills CJ in these races. You know, he could win this race. In fact, he might be able to take the lead right now. But it's going to mean nothing because he's got that 3-second time penalty. So unless Alistair makes a really silly mistake, gets a few more warnings, I don't know how many warnings he's got, but oh, you gutted for him. Oh, Alistair getting out of shape, and that will be easy pickings for CJ as he takes himself up to P1. I don't think Alistair's going to worry too much unless he's got 2 warnings and he decides to run wide. In which case, the race will be completely back on. So I'm not saying this race is over. But all Alistair has to do is stay between the white lines. It's not that difficult when you don't have that pressure of having to push 24/7. Obviously, CJ is really... He's trying to push it. He's really trying to get that 3-second gap. But he's just ran out of time. He's got it at the wrong time. But I'm sure P2, he'll still take P2. I think both of these guys will take the results they're going to get because Lewis has had an awful weekend. He's, I think, probably got about 5 points in total tonight. And Luca not racing. These 2 are now in the title fight. It's going to be really close between the top 4. I'm looking forward to seeing the results. It'll be posted on TGP's Twitter, I believe, or it will be posted on on the website later on tonight, I believe. Alistair gonna maybe look at a move on CG. Is he gonna think about it? No. He's gonna. You just have to play smart now. You don't need to make any unnecessary moves. He has to be a little bit careful. Because obviously that contact, they were both racing each other very hard. I imagine it'll be a racing incident, but maybe the stewards will see it differently. Maybe POVs will tell a different story. So none of these results are like safe. If Alistair's at fault, then he's not going to win. If CJ's at fault, I mean, he probably won't win on track anyway. But yeah, he'll drop down maybe to 3rd, 4th. So every place counts here because CJ is at fault, which I don't think he'd get penalised for unless Alistair got damage for it. He will want to finish first. Oh no, ignore me. What am I on about? It wouldn't matter anyway because 3-second time penalty. Yeah. Ignore me. Anyway, as we go on to the final lap. Meanwhile, little cut to the fight for P5. These 2 have been together all race, and that reminds me of what happened in Belgium. Yuri and Deck had a little collision, didn't they? And well, it's beginning in the final lap. Yuri on the better tyres than Deck. Who will get that P5? There's no penalties between them, so there is nothing stopping Yuri from going for an outrageous move. Meanwhile, we go to the leaders. It looks like no moves are going to be made from Alistair. There's no need to make a move compared to these guys where it does matter. Here we go. Deck weaves. He's trying to break that slipstream. Will it be enough though? Yuri burning his DRS. He's burning his DRS. Down the outside he goes. Dex going to hold the inside, but I think Yuri has just got the place back. Dex tries to send it down the inside. Did they crash? I'm not quite sure. I think they might have had a slight bit of contact. Yep, Deck is indeed... He's lost a little bit of his front wing. And I think that might be his chances of P5 in the bin. So, unless this straight can provide any sorts of differences... Oh, he's tapping him again. We're going to have to cut to the leaders in a minute, and this is going to happen again where Yuri's going to be in a fight. Oh well, it's not going to matter. Anyway, CJ, He wins on circuit, but it's Alistair who will take the win in front of CJ, who will get P2, but they both should be happy with that. They've both been brilliant all night. Jack Pearson will get third on circuit and won't finish third on the standings. He must have got he got 6 seconds. Chris Johnson will get third then, Jack Pearson fourth. Yuri holds on, well, he gets P5 in the end. Deck just couldn't hold on. I thought it's been a good night for him, I think. Marco, I believe his name is, or Mick Schumacher, in P7. I'm sure he'll be happy after he claimed that Ferrari weren't having a great weekend. Daniel, 8th place. I'm sure he won't mind that. Neil Jack, P9. Matty C, 10th. Jess Ball, 11th. Say Sports will finish in 12th place. And Jack Craig, 13th. And we go to Wet Lemons, who... he had a really good race. I'm not quite sure what happened tonight here in Singapore, but he had a good race in Hungary, and I feel like that shouldn't be taken away from him. But yeah, he had that collision with Marco, which really cost him. And unfortunately, that's put him down in 14th. I think he still gets 2 points, but yeah, Alistair. Oh, he actually got fastest lap, I think, at the end, so he'll take that. Alistair is your race winner. He wins the weekend. Yuri gets fastest lap. Not fastest lap, drive of the day. He had a good race tonight, I guess. In Singapore. He started quite far at the back, I think. But I think my drive of the day, if I had to name two, it would be CJ and Alistair. I couldn't pick one. They're both joint. Saying that, top three odds to be fair. Jack Pearson again. I know he didn't get third and then got fourth. Yeah, maybe not then. As Alistair Strays, again the same exact man, the CJ Strayed. I wonder if they're on the same team. In terms of the thing, as Dex left the session early, he's had enough for one night. Yuri, by the way, 15th to 5th, good drive from him. Okay, race standing, race finish then. Alistair wins from CJ, from Chris Johnson, from Jack Pearson, Yuri 5th, Dex 6th, Marco 7th, Daniel 8th, Neil Jack 9th, Matty C 10th, Jess Ball 11th, Day Sports 12th, Jack Craig 13th, Wet Lemons 14th, Wet Lemons with fastest lap, Rebel Kim 15th, Jack Craig, I don't think he gets points because he didn't actually drive any of the race, and Dark Shadow DNFs. So, that is your race for tonight. I think this could be a four-way scrap for the title. Don put in the Twitter chat that Luca can't believe his luck. Lewis only scoring 7 points from 3 races. Somehow, despite missing 3 races, Luca only loses 7 points in the title fight. Yeah, that is huge from Luca. He is probably, like I said, thanking every god that he could ever think of. But yeah, that is TGP2 for the night. I hope you've enjoyed. Apologies that my commentating hasn't been top notch. I've not been feeling very well. I missed a few overtakes from CJ. I do apologise as well for that, and any other overtakes I missed or messed up on, I do apologise. I'm still new to this, to be honest. This is the first time I've done commentary. Apart from obviously when we first started with this in probably properly months, maybe years. So still adjusting, and I will learn and improve for next week. Hopefully Cam will be with us next week, but we will see how he's doing. But from me, I hope you've enjoyed. We will be going, quickly before we end the stream, we'll be going to the Netherlands and then a mystery track which will be decided, I think, on a wheel. I need to talk to Jack what's going on with that. And then Bahrain will finish off the night for us on the 27th of November, next Wednesday. I hope you can join us. And yeah, I have been your host, Kieran, and I will see you all next week in the Netherlands. Have a good night. Good night. Safe travel.